When I feel I'm struggling with my mental health, some things that I like to do is go kayaking, but also just taking my dogs for a walk. I really enjoy vacuuming. It's self-soothing to me. My name's Terri Lavely, and I lost my 18-year-old nephew 8.5 years ago to suicide. I'm also an attempt survivor. I have the privilege of actually working in mental health, and I volunteer for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. For my own attempt when I was 15, the loss of my nephew really made me braver talking about my own attempt. It had been buried for 3 decades. We didn't talk about it, we didn't acknowledge it in our family, and it really started helping me heal by being able to talk about my own experience when I was a teenager and my own attempt in surviving that, and how it felt to not talk about it and be so stigmatized for so many decades. So my nephew's death has actually helped me process my own attempt and has helped me heal in the process of grief of losing him. My therapist has helped me the most on my healing journey, really helped me understand that I hadn't grieved because I was too busy taking care of everyone else. And my friends and family that allow me to talk about my nephew and not the way he died, but who he was as a person. Suicide doesn't define who he was as a person. He was, over 6 feet tall, a beanpole, very quiet but very sarcastic at the same time, gave the best hugs and was just a joy to be around as a human being. My nephew has taught me that I need to allow myself to feel the feels. I'm very much a doer and a caretaker. And it took me a long time to even start my grieving process of losing my nephew and recognizing that I needed to work through my own attempt because it was buried for so long. That I was telling them without saying words, and I wish somebody would have asked me if I was struggling. I wish there would have been more safe adults in my world that felt comfortable seeing and recognizing and acknowledging that I was struggling and knowing those warning signs. They were there and nobody asked me. Oftentimes when you experience trauma when you're younger, adverse childhood experiences especially, it impacts your mental health as an adult. And we need to recognize that there is a strong correlation from childhood trauma to struggling with your mental health as an adult. So really understanding where kids are coming from. There's a high rate of attempts for youth population because of the way their brain develops, and especially if they have experienced trauma as a youth. I have a very high ACE score, and it did contribute to my attempt to take my own life when I was 15. When I attempted to take my own life, when I was in progress, I got scared. And after I had made the decision, I instantly regretted it. And that's why I'm still here today, because I got scared enough to reach out for help and got to the hospital in time. And afterwards, after I was discharged from the hospital, people need to know that you're not instantly better. You might not still want to live, right, after an attempt. And it's really getting the supports and services that you need to feel better. That people that attempt they don't just the next day feel better if they survive. They still need help and love and caring and connection. It's okay if your neighbor comes over with cookies and has a cup of coffee. That's exactly what you need, is to know that people aren't going to judge you and they're going to be there for you, even though you're struggling with your mental health. If somebody has a cold, you wouldn't hesitate to bring chicken noodle soup to them. Why wouldn't you stop by with a plate of cookies if they're not feeling mentally well? Everybody loves cookies or pizza. Normalizing the conversation would help prevent it and making it okay to talk about your mental health, but also creating resources and eliminating barriers to supports and services. 988 has been great in the state of Vermont, but we need more services like walk-in mental health clinics, peer support, and other things so people can get connected to the resources they need, and that's not always traditional therapy or medication. It's okay to struggle with your mental health. We all have mental health and we need to take care of it. And also, you shouldn't be worried about asking someone else if they're struggling with their mental health or having thoughts of suicide. Talking about suicide doesn't make other people suicidal. It opens the door of conversation and actually creates connection and hope for someone that might be struggling. Post-traumatic growth is when you take your lived experience and your trauma and you do good with it and you move forward. And my post-traumatic growth has been providing trainings, normalizing the conversation, and helping other loss survivors normalize their grief process and what they need to go through.